This is your last minute news, spoilers and rumours from WrestleMania 40. We're going to be covering Steve Austin, John Cena, Undertaker and Hulk Hogan all invited to WrestleMania. The Hardy Boyz in the Tag Team Championship match. What's CM Punk going to be doing on the night? And will Drew McIntyre still be there a week later to celebrate a victory? We're going to talk Logan Paul, we're going to talk Liv Morgan, we're going to talk what The Rock's actually going to be doing and how heavily he'll be featured at WrestleMania. We're also going to be talking Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, their next plans after WrestleMania as well. We're going to talk Sami Zayn and what his plans were, including what's next for Brock Lesnar, or at least what would have been next if he hadn't pissed all over that one. We're going to talk Bo Dallas and what he might be doing in the name of Bray Wyatt and how it does not affect at all what his plans are for his eventual wrestling return. We're also going to discuss MJF and Julia, the potential that they will be at WrestleMania, so strap in, this is going to be a quick and a busy one. Rumours that Steve Austin and John Cena will be at WrestleMania are true. They have been invited by Triple H to be at the event and be as heavily involved as they are looking for. I expect them to be involved in the opener of the show rather than anything particularly involving the main event, though I wouldn't rule anything out. The Undertaker and Hulk Hogan are also rumoured, though those rumours are not anywhere near as strong as the rumours for Steve Austin and John Cena, and I can't personally confirm them. I suspect if we are going to have a show opener, then I can see a world in which Steve Austin, John Cena, Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, and in fact The Rock all find a way into that first billing. There is certainly plenty of room on each night of WrestleMania for non-match events being left. There might be plenty of room for surprises, but the Hardy Boyz are not going to be one of them. Jeff Hardy is locked very firmly into an AEW contract and will be for a number of months yet. Matt Hardy's contract is due to expire and will be done within the next few days, but he does have a non-compete that he has to worry about. While he could walk away, he couldn't necessarily wrestle, so it's not impossible that Matt Hardy shows up at WrestleMania, but it is definitely highly unlikely that Jeff Hardy will, unless he's trying to get out the door. The way Jeff Hardy left the WWE has left a sour taste in a lot of mouths. Even though Vince McMahon is gone, certainly some grudges are still being held. Don't expect the Hardy Boyz to turn up at WrestleMania. This rumour also stems from Dave Meltzer, who has reported that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory might be pulled from the tag team match because of some reason. To my knowledge, Dave Meltzer is backtracking and has a lot of ground to cover at the moment, because not only CM Punk in the interview he had, but also The Rock has been laying into Dave Meltzer pretty regularly recently. Dave's got to do some catching up, and certainly he seems to be trying desperately to prove himself right after the fact. I mentioned CM Punk there, so let's talk CM Punk. The plans for CM Punk are relatively simple. He'll be working both hours of both night pre-shows, so he's going to be a very busy man and will in fact be working more hours than the wrestlers at WrestleMania will in order to get this over the line. CM Punk has also been invited onto commentary for the match that will open night 2, that being Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. What I will say is that CM Punk isn't necessarily there to be good on commentary, he's there to distract people, particularly Drew McIntyre. He has the potential to distract Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins needs eyes in the back of his head anyway. There is a briefcase still in play, and while a lot of people are writing off Damian Priest's efforts, I've been told pretty regularly the best is yet to come. Don't write off Judgment Day, don't write off Damian Priest, and at the same time, don't write off CM Punk. Plans from the WWE do involve CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, and honestly, I think Damian Priest winning at WrestleMania is the way to get there. Speaking of Drew McIntyre, rumours that he'll be leaving for AEW are far wide of the mark. Drew McIntyre's intentions are very simple. I expect that shortly after WrestleMania, it will be formally announced that Drew McIntyre has signed a new deal, because what I'm hearing from WWE is a pen has been put to paper. It took Cody Rhodes a little while to actually announce his signature way after we already had the news back in November. That's all I expect this to be. Drew McIntyre has been assured a championship reign. He's been assured that to be the guy that everything is built around in Glasgow. It's a homecoming. It allows him to spend more time with his family, which he is looking for. I suspect Drew McIntyre will be announcing a new deal very shortly. In a bit of a surprise to me, Logan Paul is expected to retain the United States Championship. The reason for this is particularly around LA Knight. Triple H is concerned that LA Knight has lost a lot of heat, so a big win over AJ Styles certainly would reheat that. The idea originally was for Logan Paul to defend and lose the championship to LA Knight. I still expect that particular match to happen with LA Knight picking up the win. They just need a little time to engage and connect in order to get there. There are concerns that LA Knight is starting to lose too much momentum, at which point he'd be moved back into the mid-card, but Triple H wants to ensure that LA Knight is there for the long run, because ultimately it's not going to be that long a run. As regards Liv Morgan, I can confirm that there were no plans in place for her to wrestle at WrestleMania. This has been bandied about for a while, and Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, with the help of Becky Lynch, were trying to get on the card as a match, but this is not what the WWE looks set to be going for. Liv Morgan, since returning at the Royal Rumble, was not expected to come back that early and was intended to be protected pretty heavily. The WWE forced her back faster than she was ready for around SummerSlam Money in the Bank time, and she paid the price for it. Liv Morgan will be protected a little more. That said, she was heavily involved in the finish of the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. Her push starts after WrestleMania, and I promise you that push is coming. Be patient, because Rhea versus Liv is still incoming. As regards Nia Jax, the original plan was for Nia Jax to take on Jade Cargill, but Jade Cargill is not believed to be ready for that sort of one-on-one effort. Instead, they've come up with the idea for the 6-woman tag match, which will protect Jade Cargill as well as protecting Asuka, who, let's not forget, is still carrying an injury going into WrestleMania. I should also say that it protects Dakota Kai, who has wrestled several times in matches that would have been Asuka's matches to cover for her, but is ultimately still relatively recently back from injury herself. The intentions for Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins seem relatively simple. What I'm hearing out of the WWE is that they're going to get banged up in a way that maybe people aren't entirely expecting. I wouldn't necessarily believe that we're going to get squash matches, but let's not forget Seth Rollins is doing double duty, and his opponent Drew McIntyre is not. As regards Becky, Rhea Ripley looks set to retain the championship and go on to a brand new era of challengers, looking like Liv Morgan, for example, as well as names in the future like Io Sky, and plenty more who'll be stepping into that breach. Bianca Belair seems the end date for Rhea Ripley. Becky Lynch is at this point, unfortunately for her, just a speed bump. Contract negotiations are ongoing. At this point in time, Becky Lynch has not signed anything, nor has Seth Rollins, but their contracts expire in June, and the expectation is that they'll be able to actively negotiate now that Drew McIntyre is all sorted, and actually make this happen before their contracts expire in a couple of months. The name Seth Rollins also factors into what the original plans were for Sami Zayn. WrestleMania, particularly the main event of night one, has taken on a lot of different faces. The original planned main event was Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley, then it moved to Seth Rollins versus CM Punk before the Seth Rollins and subsequent CM Punk injuries, and now we've moved to Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. This was not the original plan. The original plan, when The Rock first arrived, was going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and yet Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, so it's possible we would have seen a triple threat in the main event, but that would have felt disingenuous. The original plan for Drew McIntyre was to lose at WrestleMania to Sami Zayn, and it's one of these reasons that his contract negotiations have taken so long. He wanted bigger, he wanted better, he got his wish. Sami Zayn, however, will still be picking up a loss. It'll just be for the Intercontinental Championship against Gunther. The original plans for Gunther were to face Brock Lesnar for the Intercontinental Championship, and Brock Lesnar would have lost, putting over Gunther in the process. This was agreed almost a year ago between the two men and Triple H, and they've been working towards it pretty much ever since, quietly in the background. Naturally, it's now not happening. Brock Lesnar is not with the WWE. Brock Lesnar is still technically under WWE contract, and as exclusively reported by myself, the intention is for Brock Lesnar's contract to be quietly allowed to expire. They're not planning to use him, they're not planning to feature him, and he will be quietly let go as soon as his contract does expire. With the way Brock Lesnar's contract works, they don't have to pay him a lot of money if he's not wrestling, and to my knowledge, Brock Lesnar is happy with the situation, just ignoring it and waiting for it all to go away. Bray Wyatt was originally scheduled to go into the Hall of Fame this year, but this was nixed by the family as being too soon, something which the WWE and Triple H have been incredibly respectful of and immediately made plans to change. Instead, they are looking for some sort of small tribute from Bo Dallas. He is in charge of this particular tribute, and I could very much see something happening during WrestleMania to celebrate the life of Bray Wyatt. After that, however, for Bo Dallas, the plan is not to return as Uncle Howdy. The plan is to deviate from the Bray Wyatt character's set up and be his own version of Bo Dallas. A new version who doesn't necessarily Bo leave anymore, something a little darker, similar to how Alexa Bliss is intending to return in a way that also respects Bray Wyatt, and how Braun Strowman is intending to return in a way that also respects Bray Wyatt. Put simply, nobody in the WWE believed that anyone other than Bray Wyatt was capable of telling the Bray Wyatt story. I completely agree with that, and I do think you unfortunately have to leave this one alone and leave it unfinished for now. Nobody can finish this story. Bo Dallas is not willing to try, nor should he be, but a tribute to WrestleMania or in and around WrestleMania seems very fitting. Two names now to mention, and their names have been heavy in the rumour mill. MJF is no longer the AEW champion, and in fact has been taking a break from AEW for a number of months now. However, it's just a break. He is still under AEW contract, as first reported here, and he will be back within a couple of weeks in order to ply his trade once again. MJF has been taking a prolonged break and a prolonged recovery. He did essentially carry AEW on his back for a number of months. Now there's a few more people involved. Now there's a Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe match being built towards for All In at Wembley in August, and MJF is no longer going to be the entire focal point of AEW. He will be returning shortly. He will not be in the WWE. He will not be at WrestleMania. Somebody who will be at WrestleMania, though, whose name keeps popping up, is Julia. Now, Julia is not planning to sign with the WWE, to my knowledge, just yet, but she may pop up in the actual ringside area as a way of essentially saying, hey, do you see this person? So do we. There are offers on the table for Julia from both AEW and WWE, but she's been repeatedly advised that the WWE is the right choice for her. I don't think I necessarily need to tell you who is giving her this advice. It's not Tony Khan. Join us for 4 nights of watch parties in and around WrestleMania right here on the Tom Colohue channel, and let me know in the comments your reaction to this news. Until then, check out more PLE Wednesdays and I'll see you soon.